What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, this is a renaissance of gaming, if you know. I'm just kidding. Look, Xbox is on, it's firing on all cylinders. PlayStation got 4 flat tires. Okay, so, well, what is it? Oblivion got 92 Metacritic, or 92 OpenCritic. I think it's 92 Metacritic as well. And like the Xbox, 90s, right? That's Oblivion, the remastered, right? Cool. So now, Expedition 33 has got reviews, and that's doing pretty. That's in the 90s too. It's 90, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 9, like maybe 2 8s, 2 8.5s. That's it. And it's recognized, even though it's not, as an Xbox game because they heavily advertised it as Xbox, and also Game Pass. So Game Pass in itself is kind of an advertisement, if you will. And I listened to a little bit of Luke Stevens talk about the game, how the battle mechanics are really, how he explained it is really intricate, but satisfying in a way, like not difficult, just like, okay, if you do this, you can do a loadout like this. And then he said, I think that's one thing his complaint was, that there were no loadouts or something that you can kind of switch between or whatever. But you know, you can have different builds and stuff depending on how you build. You're 6 characters. You have 6 controllable characters in that game. Anyway, so I got that downloaded already. I downloaded that first before I downloaded Oblivion. I haven't actually played Oblivion yet because it was super late when it finished. I was like, I'm just gonna chill. And so, once again, like the last video, I'm like, yo, look at what's going on right now. We're experiencing a change, a shift, not a seat change. Well, a seat change as well, but there's a change in the sentiment of video games, particularly AAA. Now, it's like before, would you say AAA? You'd be like, PlayStation, that's all they do is AAA games. They got is bang, God of War, Last of Us Part 2. I mean, that's really about it. But, you know, you can say the other things too, but it's not really, but, you know, you're sure. And I haven't heard anyone speak of a PlayStation IP in a AAA, even AA, indie, anything in a hot minute. I think Astrobot was the last thing they talked about as far as a PlayStation IP, Sony IP, first party game. The thing that made them, that pushed them to the forefront, that made them the market leader, it's nowhere to be found. And was it today? I think maybe it was yesterday. You got Oblivion out there. You got Expedition 33. Xbox is on fire. Everybody's happy. Steam charts are almost 200,000 people playing in the middle of the week on a Tuesday where everybody's supposed to be working. Nobody's working. Everybody's playing Oblivion. Imagine this weekend. It's going to be crazy. Meanwhile, PlayStation puts out an ad for Ghost of Yote. And I half paid attention to it because honestly, I'm like, they messed up so hard and so bad by making that game not Jin and whoever her name, whatever her name. First of all, it's a her, okay? Yeah, look, I get having females, representation and all that stuff, but you see what's going on culturally. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, but also think about the game. Think about the time period. Think about, okay, is it realistic to have a female ninja / samurai? I guess she's a samurai. Is that actually realistic? Historically speaking, it's hard to tell because, honestly, history is written by the winners, and if the winners are sexist dudes, then guess what? There's not going to be no girls. Girls are gonna be in the kitchen, cooking, making sake. I don't know what they do in Japan. How they cook rice and fish. I don't know. Anyway, so they knew this. They're like, okay, Concord didn't go off that well. Why? Why didn't it go off? Because people just don't get it. Like they'll blame, like everybody in the studio is right? Toxic positivity. And the audience, the customers are wrong, obviously, because I think they have it in their mind. This is Sony we're talking about. That they know what we want. They are going to make something and we're going to want it. That's how and that came from Apple. Apple used to do that. Apple, I think, who said it? It might have been Steve Jobs. I don't think it was Steve Jobs. Somebody said it. But they said, paraphrasing, that you don't know what you want until we make it or it's presented to you, whatever. Which is not entirely true. You look at trends, you look at, you see what people are saying, especially now with, the ubiquity of communication. You put out a trailer and there's a bunch of thumb downs and say, yo, where's Jin? Yo, where's Jin? Guess what? They want Jin. Your customers want Jin. You don't supply Jin, they're not going to be happy. It's simple. It's simple. But they think that they know better. And that's the wrong thing. Oblivion Remastered is a perfect example of how you give the customers what they want. Everybody's happy. Freaking the internet's on fire in a good way. Microsoft must be smiling their ass off. They're like, oh my God, this is so great. Even though it was leaked like a week before, the reception is probably even bigger because that gave it a little bit of a, oh shoot, oh, what is it going to come out? Oh, a little bit of an anticipation instead of 2 years of, oh, we showed you a trailer. Now we're going to show you another trailer, movie trailer. No gameplay, not yet. And then they show gameplay and I'm like, meow. Like, moo. I have a feeling Grand Theft Auto 6 is not going to look that good. Red Dead was the best looking Rockstar game. That was their latest. So sure, it'll look better than 5, obviously, but I don't know how much better it can look. And is it gonna look like the trailer? I don't know. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Sony is making games that their customers don't want. Like Intergalactic, right? The Prophet, Heretic, Prophet, blah, 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 whatever. Even the title's Intergalactic, you could have just stopped right there. Don't say nothing else. Intergalactic. Then Intergalactic 2. Keep it simple. But no, they gotta put the Heretic, Prophet, and now we gotta figure out, okay, the Heretic, Prophet, that's kind of an oxymoron. That's what I don't understand. Oh, but when you see the story, because it's gonna be a story, then you understand the plight of the Heretic Prophet and how she cut her hair off because reasons. I'm like, look. Oh, side note. I was watching a little bit of clips of live action The Last of Us Season 2 where Abby golf clubs, you know what I'm saying? And you know who's in that scene? Heretic Prophet girl. I forgot her name, her character's name, and also her real name. But she's in there. She's there. They do a panning shot. She's in 2 shots. I'm sure she's in more, but on the clip that I saw, I was like, at every one, I was like, boo, hold on. That's her? Because she's a very unique looking person. Not in a bad way. She's a very beautiful face and stuff. And she ain't had no hair. Zoop. Just like in the Heretic Prophet stuff. I was like, oh, okay. She actually looked better in live person, which is kind of a thing with Sony. Anyway, we're not getting into that. Back on track. So they're making games that people don't want. They're making games that customers don't want. You look at South of Midnight, right? Now, South of Midnight was a bit of a curiosity. It was like, oh, any type of folkloric kind of thing for me is fascinating and I'm interested in because it has roots in history, roots in certain cultures, depending on the folklore and stuff. And it gives you a little bit of insight into if I grew up there, this is what I would have been hearing about Hugging Molly and Two-Toe Tom and all this stuff. And so it's interesting in that respect, and also it's interesting because it's mystical, magic creatures, and it's cool. You know, designs of the creatures are really, really good. You know, everything about that. Like last video, I said South of Midnight would be an excellent movie, stop motion animated CG movie. Let's do it. Come on, get the Cubo guys, whatever their name, the Two Swords. I forgot what that movie's called. I keep forgetting. Get them to make the movie. It should have been already in the works, but it's not. But man, that would be a really cool movie. Anyway, that game, I didn't know I wanted it but they presented it in a way is that, oh, it's unique, blah, blah, blah. It could be, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. You know, it's up to the devs and the publishers to give us products that are good, right? And not so much anticipate the reception, but be smart about what you're giving people. And if you're going to say, I'm going to make a woke game, then you say, this is a woke game. Put it out there proudly, make it a woke game, and you'll see if that's going to be successful. And that's the thing. You have to, you could test the market. You can say, okay, all these companies have data, right? So they say, okay, what game sells the most? Shooters. Are they woke? Not really. I mean, some of them have woke skins, but we don't really count that because that's an option. The fundamental foundational aspects of the game are you shoot each other in the face. One team wins, one team loses. If it's a BR, then it's last man standing, last person standing. There's no politics in games. Like if you look at South of Midnight, it's not really about politics. It is about culture, and it is about a specific culture, and it is about other things that concern family and darker themes with as far as like family, kids. It's a greater spectrum of things that you don't see in like a Call of Duty, obviously, because Call of Duty is a specific type of game. But once again, you don't see that in every game. So that in itself gives it more of a unique and refreshing, for lack of a better term, aspect to it when you go to play it. And some of it is like, it's like kind of depressing and it's like downer. But it's not like you compare like the serious moments and the serious topics and situations in South of Midnight versus The Last of Us, right? Last of Us is about anger, revenge, and they smother a bunch of murder, death, and some doggy style sex. Just saying, so it's pretty aggressive. It's not passionate at all. Some people like that. I guess that's what Druckmann like. He like it. Anyway, and at the end, you're like, you're there for the ride. You go along for the ride, but all you feel is like, it's like anger and revenge, and as a player, you're like, I don't like this character. I don't want to play as this character. But you have to play as this character for half the game. Whether it's Ellie, who she's turned into, or it's Abby, who she is because of circumstances revolving the first game. I don't want to play a game where I don't like the character I have to play. That's the worst game. That's like, no, thank you. I'm going to go play something that I want to play. Where I say, not that I'm put my shoes in my feet or my person inside of that character, which that's helpful too, but you can like Hazel is a black woman, Louisiana black woman, right? I can't relate to that on a certain, because I'm a man, and so yeah, I can't relate to that. But I have a mom, sure. I don't have a crouton. But I'd be like, okay, if you're a little kid and you got a little stuffed animal and you still got it. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I don't know when I got it. Probably on one of our trips to Disney World, but it wasn't a Disney World thing. But it was a shark, right? It's a puppet. You know, put your hand in there. It's like, brr, 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 right? And for some reason, this is knucklehead kid Stevie, right? We'd be driving. You know, we lived in New York, so we drive down to Florida, visit grandma, and on the way hit up the parks and stuff, right? And we had like one tape that we played. I mean, we had more tapes, but we had one tape, and it came with the car. Like back in the day, it was a tape player. It was a nice system. It was like Bose and stuff, so it sounded good. But we had a tape player. It was like Hall & Oates and freaking Pointer Sisters and just all the pop. So it's like we were doing Private Eyes, and I'm like, Private with the shark, and I'm like, I had so much fun with that stupid thing. If I still had it, I mean, it got wrecked over the years because, you know, I had it for so long and I abused it, and I think I burned it at one point. It got a little burnt for, I don't know how I got it burnt, but anyway, that little shark was such a cool little thing. Like, that's my crouton basically, and I'm sure every kid has kind of a, you know, a something, whether it doesn't have to be a stuffed animal. It could just like a transformer. Like my first transformer was Windjammer. I thought it was, wait, is it Windjammer? I think his name was Windjammer. Anyways, red. He was the red alternate of Bumblebee. They were both the same kind of transformer, how they different car models, but the same transforming as far as the toys go, because the cartoon's based off the toy. Anyway, I still have it. And I remember getting that as my first transformer. It's like, oh, Optimus Prime. I never actually had Optimus Prime. I got Ultra Magnus, which is basically a white Optimus Prime. Why I gotta be white? Hey, look, I didn't make the toy. I'm just saying, I'd be like, hey, it's Blanco Optimus Primo. Excuse me. So, you know, certain, like, oh, I remember my first bike, or, you know, games. I remember my first video game system, and the first game, like I explained last video, 360 wasn't my first video game system, obviously, but, you know, I got Oblivion and I got Graw. I was good because those games were dope. Those two games. And also, let's see, my first video game system was I guess it was an Atari 2600. Yeah, and we got Pac-Man. And so that was really disappointing. I was disappointed. And we had ET too. I'm kind of mad at my, I think it was my mom that gave our Atari to my cousins that live in Puerto Rico. And I was like, oh. I mean, I didn't even know. I was like, where's the Atari? And she's like, oh, we gave that to them. I'm like, yeah. I wasn't, you know, now I'm like, man, I wish I had the original Atari. But honestly, it's all right. You can keep it. I got the little plug-in joint. It's the same thing. It's like, when you talk about, I mean, sure, it's cool to have the hardware, but at some point, it's like you just got a lot of plastic and circuit boards, and, you know, you want to kind of condense that stuff and not go crazy. But the thing about, once again, going back to South of Midnight and how it is relatable on different levels, there's a bunch of things about kids going through hard times. I mean, some of us can relate to that. Single parent stuff, some of us can relate to that. There's just a lot of different things. You know, Hazel's mom, Lacey, how she's like, you know, I think she's not a caretaker. She's like anyway, her line of work. And kind of her motivations and how it ties to everything else. It's like, yeah, it's like a lot of things are relatable. And then that ties also into the character, the other characters. I was going to say ancillary characters, but it's not ancillary. They're just part of like each chapter. And so like the Two-Toe Tom situation, the whole story, the characters involved in that. And I was like, oh. It's like, well, I don't know anybody like that per se, but damn, that's messed up. But it's more of a human nature type of thing where you can say, damn, yeah, we kind of messed up. And it goes on and it goes on, and then you see, and then Hazel does some stuff. It's like, what are you doing, Hazel? Oh my gosh! And so it's really good. I mean, I wish that the combat was like super top notch and there was like no complaints about it. Even though the more I play it, I'm like, actually, the combat isn't as bad as I think people are kind of putting it out. Even like what I said before, I can say, I say the combat is probably the weakest part of the game. I said this before, but the game is so strong that the combat being the weakest part isn't a detriment because it's not bad in any way. It's like not even like, I was going to say like mid or anything. It's like good, but it's like, okay, it could probably be tweaked to feel a little better or do whatever, but it's not bad, like I said. So the relatability of a game like South of Midnight, I think, propels it further narratively than a game like The Last of Us or The Last of Us, because once again, that is a dark and negative sentiment that they're pushing. The narrative and the emotion that they're trying to get out of the player. It's negative. It's bad. It's like you don't feel good playing that game. You don't. You're like, oh my gosh, oh, this game sucks. Oh my gosh, I'm so, But South of Midnight is different. Now, I'm not finished yet. I just started chapter 10, so I am apparently getting to the good part, and I'm like, wait, I didn't get to the good part yet. This is not the good part that I just. Whew. So I'm like, yo, and the music. Okay, so I said before, the music. I like the music because they had like a kids choir in there, and the dude who did the music also was I believe he's the conductor or the leader of the kids choir. And so like you hear them constantly, like when you do a jump or a double jump, it's like it like makes a little noise, and you do a little magic thing, and you hear them all the time. And when you hit the thing to show you where the path goes, it goes Hazel. I was like, yo, there's so many little touches of just niceness in this game that make you feel not horrible, that make you feel not dreadful, that make you feel like I just want to keep playing this game, make more of this so I can play more of this forever. That is not how you feel when you play games like The Last of Us. God of War, maybe, but I don't know. I think that might get a little bit of repetitive because just the nature of it, and it's not as personable, I don't think, as South of Midnight, because Hazel is effectively out there trying to help like people, right, and these creatures, and Kratos is stoic and he's trying not to slap his boy constantly. He's trying not to, like, he's like, boy. He says boy a lot. That's, he's lucky if. Here's why they chose a black man. Well, because the first Kratos was black also. But if they would have chosen a white man, they can't be saying boy, because there would have been an issue. Listen, I'm just saying, you can't be saying boy if you ain't a black dude. That's all I'm saying. Don't ask me why. I didn't make up the rules. That's just but it's the son, so it's fine. But it's you look at the different games, right? You look at like Astrobot, I would say, is the closest thing that PlayStation, Sony has produced that is kind of a game, like a traditional, let's get back to basics game. South of Midnight is that, except the story elements, the puzzles, and everything that they put into it, art style, all the music is so much above what games used to be. Like you say, oh, it's a AA game, or what AAA games used to be, that it's elevated that type of game. So it's like Astrobot, except many levels better because of the quality of the writing, the quality of the stories, telling, the characters, everything else is like super duper AAA. And the fact that it was $40 or something like that, it's like not even. And I guess when they priced it, they knew like, it's not super. I don't think people like, if that was a PlayStation game, $70 easy. Come on, son. That's just how they roll. So I'm like, man. But anyway, the point is that Microsoft is providing games that people want to play. Like it's Expedition 33 is out. Doom is next up. Come on, it's like home run after home run. It's ridiculous how many games we got. My backlog is going to be deep and thick. Pause. And look, I don't mind. I'll be like, look, I don't, because these are single player games, so I can play it whenever I want. I'm just not going to make sure that I don't spoil myself. I'm going to try to play Expedition 33 promptly because there's a lot of spoilers in that, in the imagery and in anything. So you can't look up anything. This is what Luke Stevens said. He said, don't look up anything. Don't look, don't read, don't do nothing. Just play the game. And he says like 60 hours. I think the dev said it's like 30 mainline plus 30 side. So 60 total. And I'll probably try to do everything. But how he described it in the battle system, I was like, that's a game. And that's why it's getting 9s and 10s across the board. So, yo, and that's their first game. Look, Sony needs to take notice. And they need to maybe fire a lot of people. I think they fired the wrong people, but whatever. That's their business. 30 people made this game. Their first game. And it's 9s and 10s. Come on, son. It seems like there's a lack of skill in the industry, and there's just a bunch of people who don't know how to color in the lines. I don't know what it is. But if you got a small skill team, that's all you need. You need a dope animator. You need dope program. That's all you need. But they got thousands of people making trees and pots and blades of grass. Sitting there, I'm going to make a blade of grass. It's going to take me 8 hours. I'm going to get paid. I'm like, come on, son. Really? I hope that, I was going to say, I hope AI kind of automates a lot of these things. You know what? Last thing. I was thinking about this. That would help, like a game like Starfield, like how they did their procedural planets and how it just kind of it just plops down a bunch of POIs, points of interest, and they're not really interconnected. So I would say, like, if AI could interconnect those in a way that makes sense, that feels organic and natural, then that would be an awesome use of AI in that instance. And so, I don't know. But anyway, that was a quick little thought. But I appreciate hanging out, showing, listening, man. Like and subscribe. Hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about if you played Expedition, if you played Oblivion Remastered. What you think about that lineup that Xbox is giving you? Game Pass, all that good stuff. And yeah, I don't know about PlayStation. A little dry over there. They're a lot dry. A little dry. I'm trying to be nice. They're a lot dry, and the downward spiral continues. But I appreciate. I'll talk to you on the next one too. Wait a second. I forgot to say Concord is bad. I forgot last video too. Concord, the worst video game ever made, created, the worst failure. Took the wait.